Welcome back, this is CerealSnax, and today I'll be looking at a jumping puzzle in World vs. World, the Obsidian Sanctum. Now I'm currently in the base down here in the bottom right, but there's an entrance over here in the bottom left base, and there is also an entrance to this jumping puzzle up here in the top base. Currently it's called Aridon Terrace, but it can be changed, the name can change. Now this particular entrance is in this well that is right outside of this base right here, and that's the entrance I will be using today. You can see I'm circling it. There's a little well there that you jump into to get into the jumping puzzle. And then in this base, you actually come up to the entrance of the base from this direction and go to the right past this Drake statue. And there's an entrance right inside the wall here that you can go through. Now you have to own these fortresses to actually go into the jumping puzzle, but you can go into the jumping puzzle from any of these fortresses. So here's the third one. It's actually below this vista on this particular fortress up here in the top part of the map. And you can't miss that either. It's actually underneath the vista, kind of the mountain there. You just run around, you'll find it. So let's start it out. So I'm actually in the fortress down here in the bottom right, and of course it's called Stormbluff Isle Valley because that's the server I'm on, but it can change depending on what server you're on and that sort of thing. So we're going to run over to this direction here, and I will show you the entrance to this jumping puzzle. Now we're in World vs. World, so as you know, World vs. World is the battlegrounds basically between 3 different servers at any given time, and this jumping puzzle is actually like a PvP jumping puzzle. So there are traps that other players can activate, and there are, you know, they can attack you while you're doing the jumping puzzle itself. It's also quite a long jumping puzzle, but the rewards and the achievement are pretty cool to get, and you do feel like you've accomplished something. So here's the entrance. You actually can swim down into this little sewer type area, and then as you can see the portal is blue because I'm the blue team, and so if you don't have access you could get here potentially as an enemy, but you couldn't actually get into the jumping puzzle without having access to this fortress. So here's the beginning of the jumping puzzle, and really you just come into this huge room, and you can see there's other entrances. I'm in the far right entrance. There's actually an enemy player down there running away. So we've got to be careful, of course. A lot of times you'll come in here and the people playing will not bother you because everybody just wants to get through the puzzle. They don't necessarily want to hinder other people's progress, but that's not always the case. So it's always hard to kind of trust the enemy players. And what you do is just run up to this purple crystal light, and if you click on it, it will actually show you where the beginning of the jumping puzzle is. So you can see the light coming out from that wall over there. That is the location I need to get to, directly over to the left. It's a pretty cool little room, these ruins in here, and it's pretty detailed. I still am amazed by the detail in Guild Wars 2, and I'll just keep saying that, but I also just love the Char characters. Although they are difficult in the jumping puzzles, and I've said that before, you've probably heard me say that before, it's a little more difficult with the Norn and the Char characters because they're larger, but it's totally doable. And once you do these things once, you get good at them to the point where doing them a second time and a third time really isn't as difficult. Although there are parts in this one that were frustrating to me no matter what. Now see these, there's like these torches all along this tunnel. The goal is not actually to go through the tunnel all the way. I'm just showing you the torches will activate if there's other players. So if enemy players see you running through here, they can activate them and actually kill you. Actually, I'm lucky because there's nobody in here, which is strange because Stormbluff Isle and Hinge of Dinravi, the 2 servers right now, and I don't know what the 3rd server is, but we're the 2 of the biggest servers in Guild Wars 2 right now for World vs. World, and it's actually relatively quiet in the jumping puzzle, although there is a lot going on in the battleground, so maybe I've come in here at a lucky time, and we'll see. So basically you just jump across this beam and then go to the right here, and then just keep jumping across. So I really love these jumping puzzles, and doing them the first time is always maybe a little frustrating. Now this floor that I'm running across, you got to be careful on because it is actually a trapped floor, but only if other players activate it, and they can see you from above. There's areas above that they can activate these traps, so you just got to kind of be aware of that when you're going across, that people could be waiting for you. Alright, so far so good. It isn't too bad to start out. And this is just we've just barely scratched the iceberg on this. So you just cross this beam around here. Obviously if you fall you're going to have to start over, but luckily in the beginning part of this puzzle, if you fall you don't die, so it's not too hard to get started again on it. And essentially a lot of the things about this puzzle is following these torches. So you see there's a torch there. A lot of it is just look for the torches and you'll be good. As long as you're following torches, you're pretty much going the right direction. Now this particular part is actually like a well that you have to climb up. So we jump down a well to get here. We're going to climb up a well to get out of here. You can see there's boards and stuff that are hanging from the well kind of a jumping puzzle fashion. Like I said, this isn't really the hard part. And the nice thing about this jumping puzzle too are there are a fair number of checkpoints, I guess you could call them, where you get to a spot that is relatively safe, so you don't have to worry about starting all over from the beginning if you fall. So, and I'll show you, once you get to the top of this well, it's almost like a checkpoint of sorts. Now, of course, if you die from an enemy player, you're going to have to start all the way at the beginning, which is really can be a real pain and can be very, very frustrating. So a lot of times, if you really want to be successful at this puzzle and not worry too much, would be to come into this puzzle when your world versus world is a little bit quieter and there aren't as many people online. Maybe go at an off time of the day if you're really worried about that sort of thing. One thing I did find is that when I do this, a lot of times when it's busy, I actually enjoy it more because you have a lot of your server players with you, and a lot of times all the servers that are trying to do the jumping puzzle kind of ignore each other to some extent, because if you start combat with somebody, then you're going to get everybody involved in combat, and then nobody wants to die, so you end up having that kind of thing going on. I've done some well-placed edits in this video, and if you have a quick eye, you'll probably notice them, but I did kind of run off the beaten path just to explore and do different things. So you'll see sometimes there'll be flips in the video, like right there was one where I edited a little bit because I actually stopped and was looking around and spending all this time, and I don't want to waste time in my video doing that. I just want to show you the puzzle. You can see these circles where the traps are if other players are doing it. Now this guy is somebody who obviously does it a lot, because look at him, he's just running through it like it's a race. I'm going to take my time for the sake of the video so you guys can see. So there's some Hinds of Dimravi people down there, and actually where that Robin Hook person is to my right, where they're standing, is actually where you can activate traps for the enemy players. So he must be just giving them a hard time as they run through there. So really, I just follow where this. You can see where this Ashura guy is going. He's going at a breakneck speed over there. I'm just gonna take my time, like I said, jump across here. There's some really neat things just in Guild Wars 2 in general, and as I'm doing the jumping puzzle, I'll just kind of ramble a little bit about that. The higher the level I get, the more I notice these small details. Like this jumping puzzle, even, for example, has a lot of little details in the rock structures. These are ruins of some ancient base, and I really wish I knew the history of the Obsidian Sanctum, because it would be nice to talk about that as well, but there's so much to talk about with just the jumping puzzle that probably wouldn't have time anyway. But let's just jump up in here. You can see there's these stairs cropped out. So like I said, it's the nice, really neat thing about this puzzle too is that it kind of scales itself as you do it. So in some respects, it starts out relatively easy and then gets harder and harder as time goes on. There's another trap platform over there that you can activate to attack people who are going across. Now this part's weird too. You'll come to this platform and you'll say, well, now where do I go, right? Like it's not really entirely clear, but there's actually a platform down below, and even though it doesn't seem like you'll be jumping there, you can actually make this jump. It's a very odd looking jump right here. I had trouble with it a couple times because I didn't know where to go, and I was kind of trying to figure this out on my own and didn't realize that you could just jump down to this little platform down here. So I even do a sprint thing just in case, but I think you can make it without doing a sprint actually. So I like to do the sprint thing sometimes just to kind of have that insurance that I'm not going to fall, just to give yourself that extra thing, because I hate to start over. Now this next part is the part that will probably give most people fits. This is where I think the hardest part of the jumping puzzle, and that is down this tunnel, and you have to take a torch here. And the reason is because when you get down in this tunnel, you'll see, oh, there's another player here, Rustma. If without the torches, you can't see a thing. You can't see where you're going, you can't see what you're doing. It's pretty crazy. Now the torches usually will light up just enough to see the next jumping platform that you need to jump to. So you can see here, this first part again is, this guy's going ahead of me so we can kind of see what he's doing. There's fire that shoots out of the wall. All you have to do is dodge through this, so kind of do a double, I did a triple dodge. There we go, made it right through. And then just jump across and you're good. In fact, you don't even need to, you can just jump straight from there. It looks like you could go further in that direction, but you don't have to. And this guy, he actually lit the Drake. I wanted to show that to you, but that's okay. He lit the Drake and it lights up this whole area, which is nice. Kind of keeps you from having to worry too much about the torch. And there's a little bit more of, there's a whole nother room here that I'm going to be jumping into, and you'll see why this can get a little bit stressful, especially if you've got other players running in here, because a lot of players have skills that will blow you off of walls and, you know, basically just knock you off. And they'll wait till the opportune moment when you're standing on a small little ledge like I'm on right now to just shoot you with that attack and knock you off, and then you have to start all over in this dark room. So this is a room that I spent a lot of time in, and I don't ever want to spend a lot of time in it again. So I'm trying to, you know, like I said, once you've done it once, it becomes a lot easier, and you start to get familiar with what the jumps are and all that sort of thing. So just keep coming along here. Now here's where it gets crazy. There's a little tiny wooden beam, and you can kind of see it. It's really dark. You just have to scale across it, and you'll come to like a wooden platform here in the middle, and then you just have to continue. This is where a lot of fighting will happen if there's other players. And whoop, there's another player running down there, a Hinge of Dinravi player. They will wait till you're crossing these beams, and they'll shoot you off of them from below too. So you got to be really careful here. Now the next step is just to go around here. So like I said, it looks, I feel like I'm making it look easy, but it is not easy until you've done it at least once. Just because some of these jumps, like even this jump right here, and sorry, I had some video trouble there. Basically what I did, I jumped up onto the ledge, and then I'm now continuing to the right. You didn't miss anything. It just, I had a video issue there. But some of those basic jumps, I was saying, those basic jumps can really get you because they appear to be a pretty easy jump, and then if you just don't go to the edge far enough and you jump, you will fall. So, and this part is just a matter of taking your time and scaling across these beams. So, pretty straightforward, and it's actually not too hard to get lost here because there's really only one path. Even though it may look like there's a lot of paths, you can see it looks like there's a lot of paths. There's really not. There's just this one path that you need to go, and the goal is to get across here and just get up onto that staircase. You'll be good to go. So, and then you're pretty much done with this dark part, which I just hate the dark part for some reason. It's just, I don't enjoy that too much. It's very challenging. So, alright, so we're out of there. Good. So I like that you can throw down a ring of fire. Of course, that can also frustrate the other players, the enemy players, because it will actually damage them. Oh, there's a Hinge of Dinravi person. They just fell off the edge. Is that them down? No, that's not. That's a different person down there lying on the ground, I think. Now, here's one thing you can do. Somebody must have activated it, but you can activate traps that allow these drakes to come out. So you don't want to jump down there if there's drakes down there, because then you're not only facing the drakes. Look, see, there's another player. Not only you're facing the drakes, but you're facing the other players as well. So looks like there's a Hinge of Dinravi person. Maybe they're friendly. I don't know. Somebody is up above pulling that trap chain, and I'm not sure if it's a Hinge of Dinravi person or if it's a Stormbluff Isle person. So, of course, in my chat they're saying Ranger down there, so it must be one of my team that's pulling that thing. So let's jump down here and just see. Maybe this Ranger will be friendly. I always like to assume the best about other players, but oh, I was gonna start fighting them and maybe they would join in, but apparently not. I'm probably too trusting. You probably shouldn't do that. You should probably always be cautious, because you never know what these people are gonna do. Let's see here. So let's try to get up here. Maybe this person won't mess with me, especially since it seems like I got another player up above. Person's still dead over there. And then you can see the animals in the cages and stuff. Now there goes that Ranger. Oh, and she's getting shot at, yep, by somebody on our team, so she's going to be a little unhappy about that and probably try to attack me too. But let me just see if I can get up here without messing with that other player, because I really am not in the mood to die. Oh, geez. See? Now this player is starting to attack me, but maybe if I just show that I'm just trying to jump, she'll leave me alone. Let's see. Let's just jump across here. Oh, I missed it. Do this again. Yeah, so far she's kind of leaving me alone, it seems like. So maybe we can just get up here and I can show you. Basically what you have to do is jump around the room on these lamps that are up here, and eventually when you get around the circle of this arena, you'll actually get to a place where, gosh, she's shooting at me again. She's outnumbered. I don't know why she's even, I don't know why she's even trying, but alright, well, let's just take her out. She's starting to revive her friend. Get out my Charzuka. Oh, just start lobbing some rockets here. And she's already down. Okay. Well, that was anticlimactic, I guess you could say. Alright, well, okay. Well, now we don't have to worry about other players anymore. So let me show you how to get up here. Looks like I've got a friend up in the thing. And this is what'll happen. And you never want to be like that female ranger that I just was tangling with, because it's really frustrating. You come all this way, right? And then the other team is shooting you. And that's, you know, like I said, I always try to assume the best out of people and just try to do the puzzle and try to ignore them attacking me. But you always got to watch your back, because you never know if someone's just there to just kind of snipe you. And I'm lucky right now because it's actually my team, but there's a very good chance that if you're watching this video and you come in here, that it will not be your team, it will be the other team, and they'll be shooting at you. So, and this part isn't too difficult. I mean, it's really just perseverance to jump on these lamps and take your time and jump from rock to rock. There's nothing really puzzly about it. So as I'm jumping, I'll just kind of talk about the area. So once you get to the end of this puzzle, there's actually there's an advantage to doing this puzzle daily, and you'll see that there are a lot of players that actually will run this jumping puzzle daily. And not only will they run it daily, but then once they're done, they will actually sit at the top of this thing and snipe the people below, just for the fun of it. So they'll just camp them. And the reason it's so beneficial is because there's a chest up here, and that chest has not only a number of blue rewards that may or may not pertain to your class, but it also has multiple plans for trebuchets and that sort of thing, siege weapons basically for World vs. World, so you don't have to end up buying them, you can loot them. And then the other advantage is that there are badges of honor. Now, badges of honor in Guild Wars 2 allow you to buy legendary weapons at some point. They allow you to buy other things too, but I think the thing that most people go for is the legendary weapons, and it takes 500 badges of honor to get legendary weapons, and I think you loot roughly 4 to 5 or so. We can see when I get there badges of honor per run on this jumping puzzle. So then, in addition to killing some of the things in World vs. World, there's some boss creatures and that sort of thing, and some other activities you can do. You can get your badges of honor that you need relatively quickly for a legendary weapon, and by relatively quickly I mean probably a month or so of doing this stuff daily. So you just walk along this little narrow path, and of course you see this guy. Actually, there must be more people down there. Oh, yep, there's another one, another Hinge of Dinravi, and I'm going to join in here. Oh, shoot him a couple times. They're out of range anyway. So, but I don't find a lot of joy in just standing there and camping people, so I'm just going to continue on. Although I do have him to thank for letting me get through this arena area, so I guess he's got that going for me. He's got a cool little backpack for... You can actually get guild backpacks with your little guild emblem on them. He actually was wearing one of those. That's neat. And there's these Drake statues all over Tyria. I like that. I like that there's that lore of the Drake. You know, it seems like the Drake is somewhat important to the whole lore of Guild Wars 2. I need to research more of that, and I'd like to give some more information out on that, because there's Drakes everywhere. It seems like I was lighting the one in the mouth. There's these statues of them all over the place. There's actually a statue near the entrance to this jumping puzzle. So, the Obsidian Sanctum. I haven't seen any obsidian yet, so I'm curious as to why they call it that. Regardless, let's continue on. Now, the next step, of course, is to follow these torches, like I said earlier, and jump up onto this dome. I'm probably doing it the hardware here. I think you can get up to the dome any side. I don't know why I did it right there with the holes in the ceiling. That was probably... I like to live dangerously. Oh, and don't do that. Always make sure you get your jump on the first shot. See, now that I'm near the easy part, I'm actually choking on my jumps. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. It's okay to mess up there because you're not going to fall, obviously. So let us go up here. We just go up on this ledge here, and you can see actually the beam of light from the beginning of the jumping puzzle tied it all together. We're actually in the same exact room that you start out in, but just at a higher level. So in this part, there's not a lot that you can really mess up on. Obviously, if you fall, you can restart. There's some traps here that people could kill you with, but there's not very many. You can dodge through them. Really, the goal is just to get up here and jump to the top. Now, I will mention there is some other stuff up here on this ledge, and I didn't go and show that, but you can see there's a tunnel off to my right over there on the ground. They actually have like these mystic like beams of light, I guess you call them, and they give you 4 minutes worth of stealth. One of them does, and that's pretty impressive actually. If you want to come up here and there's a lot of enemies, it's good to go get that first so that you can kind of do this in peace. Nobody can see you at all. You're completely invisible. So that 4 minutes of stealth is pretty handy. I think there's some other ones that do other things, but I'm not entirely certain. I have not done a lot of exploring up here yet, and I really should. I've always just spent the time jumping up here and then not actually doing anything. And here's another trap that players can activate. So You gotta be careful there, that'll blow you right off the edge. But again, if you get blown off the edge, you just come right back up because it's not a drop of any sort there. And then you got this kind of strange, dodgy little balcony thing that you just kind of have to shimmy along, more or less. Like I said, this is this end part. You're really in this is the open road here. When you get to this point, you're pretty much good to go. And if you just go up this staircase, then you are at the top, where you will get an enormous chest, enormous mist-rot chest. There you go. So you see my Obsidian Sanctum achievement. And let's pop open the chest. So yeah, I got 3 blue items. None of them I could use, but trebuchet blueprints and a bunch of badges of honor. Looks like I got, gosh, 7 badges of honor, so it's a little more than I expected. I'm not sure if that's a random number. Maybe you get 10 sometimes, but regardless, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you did, and I hope you liked my PvP World vs. World jumping puzzle run through. Thanks for joining me.